I should mention that I actually do have another embodiment that is not covered in the videos, and it's one I just thought of the other day, so it's not my provisional patent. Now, I do actually have it on YouTube as a private video, so it's not open to the public, and the reason I'm putting it on YouTube is because once you submit a video to YouTube, you cannot modify that video in any way. So as long as it's always on YouTube, I've got proof of the date that I came up with the idea. So, and remember, I have a 1-year grace period to apply for either a provisional or regular patent application on an idea I think of. So at the end of the day, though, I've got to keep that secret, and I can't tell you about it without a non-disclosure agreement being signed. So, like I said, when it comes to that, like I said, if you want to see it, and believe me, it's a significant embodiment that you'd really want to consider before you make a purchase on this. But again, I can't tell you about it, but I am taking advantage of the 1-year grace period allotted to me by the USPTO and the Paris Treaty countries. But yeah, I cannot disclose it in any way because it could affect your ability to get a foreign, to file a foreign patent. So, because they even count a disclosure apparently as, even for sale as a public disclosure. So, without a non-disclosure agreement, I cannot show it to you, but it is something significant. If you're really interested in this IP, you really need to see that embodiment because it's definitely something significant to consider. So, anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Backblow toilet seat, section X. The thing about the backblow toilet seat that you got to keep in mind is that it's something that, boy, I desperately want. And frankly, it not only helps, with the obvious thing, which is why I call it the backblow toilet seat, so when you have diarrhea, it doesn't blow out all over the rim, up under the toilet seat and all over the side of the toilet and the floor and up in the hinges. That's happened to me a lot of times. Man, it's very, very irritating. And I know I can't be the only one that happens to. And maybe I have a, weird anatomy or something. I don't think so, but maybe I do. And it tends to do that. But I don't know. But the one thing I do know, too, is that something like this will also prevent, as much excrement from getting all over the back of the toilet, too, as does particularly up around the rim and under the rim, which is really hard to clean. This will prevent that from basically happening. So to make your toilets easier to clean, I know it's going to be a challenge to market, but boy, if you can get it out on the market, you could sell a lot of them. And again, I see the best approach to this being a guerrilla-style campaign on the Internet. And I could actually do that since I'm the inventor of it. Let's say you and I cut a deal, okay, that you're going to carry the product and you pay me for it and stuff like that. But let's say you don't announce it just yet. Let's say you keep it to yourself. And let's say I go out, again, using your funds, that you provide, and hire an ad agency that does to do a guerrilla-style Internet campaign on this. And again, since I'm the inventor, I can put my name on it. You wouldn't want to put your name on it just yet. But I'll make videos, basically it'll be subject to your approval, of course, that will put out and go viral on the Internet about the uses of this thing, and believe me, it won't be pretty, but the uses of this thing and how it's, how it's done and what the benefits are. It'll really resonate in the younger crowd out there, particularly on YouTube and places like that. It'll resonate out there. And again, of course, all this can be done with your guidance. You can have direct input. We just want to hide the fact, that you're involved in it so it doesn't tarnish your name at all. But I can go out and put my name on it as the inventor. I don't mind because I'm a blunt kind of person. In fact, you should have heard how I was planning on starting this video. I was going to make, well, I'm not going to even tell you. But the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is I'm a very blunt person. And I, know that the shock factor can play a role, and humor plays a role. And I think introducing those two factors can really up awareness of this product. And then what I'll say is that as an inventor, I'm trying to actually find somebody to buy this product from me. I'm talking to a couple of people. I'll tell them, not telling them, of course, that I've actually already sold it. But, hopefully this will be coming to a store near you. And that's the whole point. It raises market awareness. And then, at some point, I can, we can get rid quietly, as much as possible anyway, those old campaigns. At least make sure that the commercials aren't very prolific out there. And then I can finally come on there and tell people, hey, if we have a popular following, yeah, guess what? I sold it to so-and-so. Yeah, they're very, very thrilled to be offering this to you. And anyway, I'd have to charge you a fee for doing that, for actually consulting with these advertising firms and so forth. $150 an hour or something like that. But it shouldn't use a lot of my time. It's mostly going to be them you're going to be paying, the ad agency. But the point is that, of course, you cover any necessary travel expenses, and you can pick the ad agency if you want to, or I can do it. But the fact of the matter is that's what really needs to be done is an internet-style campaign. There's some apparently really good agencies of this up in, on the West Coast, and I don't know, where you're located because I'm not exactly sure who I'm going to talk to on this yet. But the fact of the matter is it's something that could really work and raise awareness. Now, as an alternative to that, that's why we do have this other embodiment, of the back below toilet seat, the one with the handle on it. Now, the lift handle, the whole point to that is, is that men don't like touching toilet lids. That's just how it is. We hate lifting those damn toilet lids up, or putting them down, so we like to go off and leave them up because we just don't like touching them. We don't like coming anywhere near them. So I've seen certainly toilet lids with, like handles in the side of it or whatever, but honestly, we don't even want to touch that. We don't come anywhere near that bowl. We just have this thing about germs, men typically do. And it's just weird, but we just don't like toilets. Women typically don't see the problem in it, but men just don't like getting near that toilet bowl. They just don't. And this handle, what it does is it's a psychological gimmick. It's attached to the toilet seat, but it's located, its attachment point is located near the rear of the toilet. And so, to men's mind, they're going to look at that and say, the handle is up near the front, but not, in a place that's going to interfere with you. So if you're sitting on the toilet, you're not going to notice it. So, but in men's minds, they'll sit there and say, oh, well, germs would have to crawl all the way up that, that shaft there to get to that handle. So it's probably pretty clean. So the point is that from a psychological standpoint, I can just tell you personally, I hate raising the toilet every time I got to go urinate. But at the end of the day, I do, and it's my toilet, and I'm the one that has to clean it all the time. But I still hate doing it, and often gets filthy, especially because of the not having a back below toilet seat, honestly. But the point is having that back below toilet seat feature built into the handle feature will help popularize the idea, because the handle itself could be a really popular idea with men. And, of course, they're going to be the ones that are probably installing the toilet seat, oftentimes, not always, but often. But the fact of the matter is they get the benefit of the back below toilet seat, as part of it. And if it could be explained in a very, in a pamphlet or something that's in there, what the purpose of that is for, then people start getting it. Again, it would have to be explained in a very, a very polite fashion, what the point of that is. But the point is, once people get it, again, people tend to be much more blunt with each other than than advertising is cordial to them. So at the end of the day, word will get around and it'll become popular. And man, imagine 100 million of these being sold, for every American household out there, and this could be a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, it's very possible it would become the new standard. Eventually, it wouldn't need the handle, but at first, that's what the handle is for. That's the little stroke of brilliance I had to overcome the advertising problem in here. So I got two methods of advertising. Of course, both of them could be used simultaneously to one degree or another, too, if you wanted. So the point is, this has got some real potential. It's a little bit of a risk, but man, it's something that is needed out there. The challenge is getting people educated on it, but again, that's what the handle is for. That makes acceptance a lot easier without the uncomfortable, the requirement of guerrilla advertising from your standpoint. But again, if you're not afraid of that sort of thing, then by all means you do it. That's fine with me. I'm not trying to make $150 an hour from you. I just say that if I'm going to have to do that, that's above and beyond the call selling patent, is what I'm saying. And I don't know how many hours of it would be involved, but I certainly want to be compensated for my time at a minimal, reasonable rate. So, but the fact of the matter is, I still don't think it'd eat up a lot of hours on my part, but again, it may involve air travel, especially if I, use somebody on the West Coast or whatever. Because you want to find a good company to handle this, somebody that's not going to be too irresponsible. They had a really good show on A&E, by the way, a few years back, and I forgot what it is. I don't know if I still got a season pass for it on my TiVo, but so I could look up the name of it. But it was, what was it called? Pitch This or something like that. Anyway, it was about, people that would go out to these advertising firms and, and try to select the firm they wanted to do business with. So it was kind of like almost a Shark Tank kind of thing, except that, with advertising companies, you have two or three, I think it was two advertising companies competing for a client's business. Anyway, it was a few years ago, and I think it was on A&E. I'm sure I could probably do some research to find out. Anyway, it was interesting. I learned a lot about advertising firms when I was doing that, including some really good firms for this kind of guerrilla style, advertising. So I probably want to go up and go out and try to find that. But there were some really good firms, around the country for that kind of thing. And again, a lot of them seem to be located on the West Coast for this sort of thing. So in any event, my point is that, there are a lot of firms, but again, you can go choose one too if you know one, and you can do it that way, or you can do it the other way. But again, I'm not asking a lot for this IP, it's more of an upfront, buy-in factor. So the royalties are reasonable, but I think we can make a lot of money out of this. And it's a much, much, much desperately, if I could 3D print one, I'd have one, especially one that I could actually sit on and it wouldn't break. But the fact of the matter is I don't have a big enough 3D printer, et cetera, but I do desperately want one. But it'd have to be smooth, whatever it is, so I can clean it off, you know what I mean? Because that's the part I'm going to have to clean off, so it's certainly got to be nice and smooth and cleanable, whatever the surface is. So, but at the end of the day, I think this could become the new standard. And certainly I think this also has potential as an add-on product to existing toilet seats if you wanted to do it that way, the cheap and dirty way, to where, it's just something you lay on a toilet seat, an existing toilet seat. If I had to replace it, could be like clear plastic or something that way. But, the best way is to integrate it into the toilet seat, and actually make it a staple product that way, because I do think this would outlive the life of the patent, and become a staple product. It's just a much-needed feature, and I just can't believe we don't have them on our toilets. And another little bonus of doing business with me on this, too, by the way, is I have a lot of bathroom and toilet-based inventions. So if you happen to do more products than just this, I could give you right to first refusal if you're, a company interested in that sort of thing, where every bathroom and toilet product I come up with that's not destined for a different genre, I come to you first with. It's not right to first refusal, it's just right to first pick, But again, if I take something to like direct marketing, like, Telebrands or somebody like that, and I decide that's the genre I want to take it in, then I wouldn't be bound to that. So it's only if I decide to go to your genre, which is direct to industry, what I call PPACs, would I bring that to you. But still, a lot of these toilet-based inventions might be best done that way. So in any event, my point is that's a little extra bonus to doing business with me if you're the first to buy a toilet-based product. And since I do have a lot of products in that kind of neck of the woods, I wouldn't mind having an established relationship with somebody, So it's up to you.